Good morning from Nations Without States. My name's Upkar Singh, long-time activist with Nations Without States. Graham Williamson, our chairman, is here outside 10 Downing Street to support the Sabah people in North Borneo. Graham, what do you want to say to the people out there about your support for the Bornean people, the Sabah Sarawak people?
Thank you, Upkar. Well, we believe in Nations Without States with self-determination for everybody, for all. It doesn't matter whether you're in West Papua, whether in East Timor, whether in South Sudan, or of course Sabah Sarawak as Northern Borneo. People in those countries wanted their independence. The people in Sabah Sarawak want their independence. Some countries have become free, some haven't as yet. There must be at least 100 countries, nations without states as we call it, who are still looking for independence. We believe that every people has a right to determine their own future. This probably would be best with a UN-supervised referendum in every country that there's a serious movement for independence, or of course autonomy. Those are the options, but unfortunately most governments don't want to give those people the chance to have autonomy or independence. We just recently had the issue of Kashmir, which has erupted because India's decided not to give them special status anymore, but actually turn them into what they call a union territory, i.e. no different from any other territory in India. The locals obviously unhappy. In Malaya, Malaya got Sabah Sarawak, I think in 1961, to merge with Malaya to call a country called Malaysia. In reality, Northern Borneo and Sabah and Sarawak, the two districts, they're just a cash cow for Malaya because of the oil. So most of the oil revenue goes to Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaya, whilst a small amount is left with the indigenous peoples of Northern Borneo. So it's not surprising that they feel they've got a rough deal with Malaya in Malaysia. So again, we would support the right of all people not to be harassed under the Sedition Act that you have in Malaysia, that's effectively trying to say that you're not allowed to believe in independence or autonomy, regardless of whether you're successful or not. Compare that with Britain, where the Scots, or a big number of Scottish people, want independence. They've had a referendum, they lost, we may have another referendum. That should be their right of self-determination. There's no point keeping people within a federation or a union if they don't want to be in it. So this is one of the problems we have in the world. In fact, half the world's conflicts, at least, are conflicts of self-determination. Peoples who are oppressed, who are not happy with the situation, and therefore the civil conflict within those countries. We can easily deal with that if we allow people UN-supervised referendums to settle it, at least for a generation, if not forever. That's why we're here today, support the peoples of Sabah Sarawak to have their right to self-determine their future. Thank you.
And just to add a bit more detail to it, a bit more meat to the bone, although Graham mentioned the reasons why they're asking for the independence, there's a 56-year track record of genocide being carried out against the Sabah people. Systematic genocide against their culture, their religion, their way of life, so that if you were to break down any community's language, for example, you'll eventually wipe them out. And that is a systematic process of genocide going on in that country. That was the impetus for the movement for independence. It was the genocide being carried out against the people, not just the economic reasons. But the economic reason is a very strong reason too, isn't it, Graham?
Quite clearly there is a problem in Sabah Sarawak. We know that there's a problem migration of migrants from the Philippines, from all over Asia, going there, immediately being given citizenship, which obviously gives them rights over the Sabah Sarawak people. So the irony is, if we had a referendum there in quite a few number of years from now, probably the indigenous Sabah and Sarawakans would be a minority. And of course that's not an accident. The government of Malaya, acting on behalf of Malaysia, obviously want those people, the Sabah Sarawaks, to become a minority in their own culture. So that's when we're talking about genocide. We've got a demographic genocide in that country. And this is obviously replicated around the world in various other places. I believe in Balochistan there's lots of migration there, which will make them a minority. There's been particular attempts to do the same in Sri Lanka, to make the Tamils a minority in increasing areas of the north and east. So governments have plans and strategies to make their rule indefinite, and I'm afraid this is one of them.
Thank you very much again, and I hope you listen to our appeal, support the Sabah people, sign their petition online, and let's have some justice for the people. Thank you very much from Nations Without States.